checking if I'm live. Give me a second, folks. There we go. I am finally live. So today, I don't know why, but I'm attempting to go live on my sewing machine, and you can judge my horrible skills as much as you want. So let's see that. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that my Patreon thing was up, and I can see the comments while I sew this. Oops. Okay. My machine might be extra noisy, so we'll see. So the things I have had to adjust in order to get an even quarter inseam was to move my needle. I have a tape that helps me make sure I'm at the right quarter inseam and it is sewing properly, so I'm good. Alright. So I believe the next steps, so these are, it's kind of like a log cabin, and these squares are getting attached, so it's growing eventually, and it's all batiks. So I've had this fabric with me for a while, and my seams are not perfect. If you know me, I haven't done a lot of sewing before, so it's all a learning curve. And every now and then I feel I need to make some adjustments to my square. I'm just like slightly off there. This is probably a big no-no, but it's fine, I think. We'll see. Hopefully it'll all work out, right? Or very soon we'll find out. Pick up the next one. The batiks, I can usually not tell which is the right side or wrong side. If I can't tell, then I guess it's fine. Hey, good afternoon, Hotpot. You must be wondering what's happening here. Well, there is sewing going on here. It's afternoon your time, it's morning our time. You won't believe what happened yesterday. I was sewing along, and I'm sewing along, and I see this thread popping on the top of my machine, and I'm going, what's that thread? And I had sewn up like around 4 to 5 pieces together. Well, I thought I had sewn them together, but basically I realized that my needle wasn't even threaded, and all I was doing was making holes in my sewing, and I was just going one piece after another and thinking I'm sewing this stuff, but I wasn't doing anything really. So, and this is for quilting, it's like, I did my crazy scrappy quilt for which it didn't matter much if my seams were perfect or not, because then later I have to square everything up, and it was fine. But this is a log cabin in which there are, quarter-inch seams which need to be matching perfectly. So it's gonna be interesting. I have a spider. Where? I can't see it. Oh, it is. You're right. Isn't that interesting? It's a tiny itty bitty spider. Let me see what I'm grabbing it. A piece of scrap fabric with which I can move him away. Come on, dude. It's summer. Well, it's not summer, but we had a very rainy morning. Lots of thunder. My puppy Casper got super scared, and he woke me up. He was trembling, and that's how he woke me up. And he was like, "What's that sound? I don't like it." I mean, I don't like it either. So again, no idea what's the right or wrong side. So we'll just go with what feels right. So lining up of fabric is sometimes it's like you breathe on it and it feels like it shifts. Something went wrong. Yeah, the thread is off. See? You can hear your machine and you know something is off. So let's get that clipped off. Yeah, the thread is off the needle. So, but I want to maintain the orders of these, so I'm just trying to undo the thread barf that happened. There we go. That takes care of that, and let's see what happened here. It is super annoying when it happens, but it happens every now and then. So we'll put our scrap piece in here, making sure everything is nice and dandy. Sewing up properly, that's good. And then what should I do here? Because I do want to maintain the order of these. Let's move it towards the side. Okay. Just need a few stitches there to make sure it's all lined up. So it's all good. The reason why I want to maintain the order of these pieces is because the next color needs to go on in the same order. At least that's what I'm hoping happens. Let's put the orange piece here. That look nice. In some of these it's like pretty obvious, like see this is so dark and this side is light, so I want the dark side, so I'm considering that to be the right side. But on some of them I cannot tell the difference, and even there is a density difference in between the fabrics. Like some of them are really soft batiks and some of them are stiff, like they almost have starch on them. They were all part of one jelly roll thing, so am I attaching these properly? No, I did not attach that properly. No, what am I doing here? No, that one went on incorrectly. I knew something was off. Yeah, that went on incorrectly. So let's move these pieces back. It needs to get attached on the joint side and attached on the straight side. So time to undo again. Like I told you, I'm not an expert at this. Going to make a lot of mistakes. I don't even know if I am doing this correctly, but there's probably a more efficient way of removing two pieces after you have sewn them incorrectly, but I just go on both sides, kind of see if they are coming apart or not. I don't do it stitch by stitch, but Yep, those holes suck over there, but the next piece hopefully will join along that and it'll all be okay. It's all we can hope for. I need to pay more attention to what I'm doing. I could have goofed up back there too. Alright. The one thing I've realized is among all the fiber crafts I've done so far, spinning, weaving, knitting, crochet, this one is the most messiest. Okay, so let me get the very last piece, which was this one. Let's use that as a leader. Okay. That's where the joint is. So hopefully that was the only one I messed up. When we iron it all together, we'll see where else I have goofed up. Anyone else out here with sewing tips, feel free to chime in. Hey Wendy, I am sewing. I don't know how people do this really. It's so fidgety. So far, my stuff is lining up, but I'm only on the fourth piece being attached to my log cabin, and looks like I did cut accurately, and I do have a decent 1/4 inch seam. It's the whole alignment thing which is driving me a little nuts, especially after doing a scrappy. Like, it didn't matter for a scrappy quilt how perfect everything was. The only saving grace is like this one. See, it's like slightly off, 1/8 of an inch off. I know accuracy is key. That's what I loved about my scrappy quilt. At the end, I just had to square everything up and it was fine. In this log cabin, it's like everything needs to match up perfectly. This one is slightly off and it will cause me grief, I can already tell, but let's see. This might be the project which lets me know that maybe this kind of accurate kind of quilting is not for me. So we'll find out. Had to try it out. So we'll see how this project progresses, and if I feel I'm getting too much anxiety over it, then it's not worth doing. I can stick to my scrappy quilts, and I actually love the idea of scrappy quilts than this kind of quilting. It looks too perfect for me. The more I keep looking at my scrappy quilt, the more I like it. So it's accurate cutting, and it is the hide the cut into the seam. I don't know what you mean by that. But yeah, accuracy of cutting is one thing, but the 1/4 inch thing was a whole different thing. I spent a good 2 hours figuring out where I need to put my tape and what the needle position should be for me to get that really accurate 1/4 inch seam. And I think I got it, but I did make one entire square complete, and it worked out to the right dimensions. But it's like doing one square is one thing and doing multiples is a whole other thing. Let me show you that square. And I did make this out of scraps and not out of the actual fabric. Like some of the batiks are the same ones, but then I added some scraps just to make sure my quarter inch seam was accurate. And in this you can see at the edges to it all lines up on all the sides. I didn't square this off or anything, but it ended up being the right 7.5 inch square which you're expecting. But that's, like I said, it's one thing. Like I made two of them. One of them was the first one was totally out of whack. Then this one is still better. So I don't know if how the accuracy of each one of these is going to be. Like in this square itself, like this I think is a cutting mistake. It lines up perfectly here, but here it is off by just a slight amount. So I'm hoping that the next pieces that get attached to it don't have an alignment issue. But I know it's so compounded thing. Like the math in me keeps telling me that, oh, you're messing up big time, which I probably am. Alright, so half of these are done. I'm wondering if I should iron these out and make sure. So when I open this up, hopefully this will line up. Oh, it's pretty close. So that will go there. Yeah, once it's ironed out, I think this will be a good fit. So it looks like I'm doing it fine. So let's just continue on. I'll just put a leader there to make sure that I'm going to the next batch. So I have two neutral batiks. These are the batiks I bought. I don't know, Wendy, if you're still watching, but these are the ones that I purchased when I was doing the English paper piecing project. Let's go with an orange. So even though this is a pretty random uh, set to do, I'm kind of paying attention to how the colors go together. I can't help it. I can't just let it go. I need some control of color. Green looks nice. Yeah, see, this one is like almost 1/8 inch bigger on this side. Pile of fabric is growing. Yeah, freeform quilting is more my thing. I kind of the one thing which I do like about quilting, which when I just started off and I was looking at projects, is putting colors together. That is more of my fun thing than actually getting all these very precise cuts and matching seams. This is just too like I want to work more with scraps than yardage. I even asked my friend Ginger to send me scraps, and was like, she sent me like yards of fabric, and I'm like, no, I wanted scraps from your previous projects, which I want to play with color and putting them together any which way I want. But this is the project I'm actually working on now is one that I'm doing with Nancy, and it's actually a mystery quilt along, out of all things. And I figured if I did a mystery, I would just follow the steps and just do the things, and it will eventually be done, like a quilt along mystery. But I just didn't want to, because every time I was looking at other patterns, I was just like, I don't know what to do, whether I like it or not. I said, just go with a mystery, and hopefully I like it. So here's being hopeful. So it's like I think I'll get more satisfaction of just, oh, speed, match all the fabric pieces together, stock them, sew them. Yeah, that makes sense. Uh, the one thing I'm trying to maintain is order, which I think I still could. Um, because the next piece that I need to attach on top, I want it to be the same color as this block. So once, this one is attached, the pattern requires us to be random, but I cannot help it. I don't think I can do that much random. But I want this batik color to be the same as this. And since it's part of a jelly roll thing, it's all batiks, and there are some batiks which have more than one color on them. Like this one has green and blue in it with orange things, but the pattern is different. I just kind of want to make sure that I'm not then hunting for the matching piece to be there. And currently I don't know which color I want to even start with based on this square. So the first one I'm just kind of going that way, and when I attach the next ones I'll probably try that. That's a good tip. But even when I match it all up, I keep fidgeting with it so much. Enjoy layering fabrics with raw edges visible and using art yarn in quilting. I don't know exactly what you mean. I saw something, I saw a craftsy class on like putting different stitches on a fabric and trapping yarn in it. Is that something what you're talking about? But yeah, I do think I kind of want to do some interesting things like that. Like this kind of quilting, I'm going to do this project and then we'll see. I might disappoint a lot of people. Because I do have a lot of art yarn. Keep spinning it. Might as well put it to good use. Yeah, send me pictures of some stuff at some point, Wendy. I don't remember exactly. But at that time, I was just like so new to everything. I don't think I gave it much of a look. But Google art quilts. Okay. It's a good thing there's always a art related thing to all the crafts. I guess that's what the difference is, between like I once in a while I get asked this question about, what's art and craft. And I think it's things like that which I know I get more. Uh, I see craft as a certain skill to do something, And I see art as pushing the boundaries of that and taking it elsewhere. Don't know if that makes sense to anyone. It makes sense to me. Gosh, I have a lot of blue greens left. Hopefully I'll have a decent mix of colors at the end. We'll see. I also wish I had so Nancy found out about this thing about uh, starching fabric before cutting it and sewing it up, and she's like, it makes a difference, and I'm sure it does, if everything is nice and crisp. Like some of these batiks, I can feel they have that stiff starchy quality, and they are sewing up definitely a lot easier and feeding through the machine a lot easier. Today I want to make a trip to Joann's to get batting for my scrappy quilt. I need fabric for its binding, and yeah, so that's stuff to buy. And Joann does have a 60% off on fabric currently, on fabric cuts, plus a 20% off over that. So I'm hoping I can find what I need. Oh, this one is off by quite a bit on one side, but it's matching on the other side, so maybe I just didn't cut it accurately. What I think I need to start pairing these up, because I'm kind of running a little short on my contrasting colors, so should have done this before. But that will go with this guy. Let's put that with this guy. This guy can go here. So I have only last few pieces left, and I just want to make sure that I have a decent contrast combination happening here, and I might be in trouble. Let's do this one here, and we can do this one here. Who else can take control? Let's put this guy green one there. Okay. So I have made my pair. So let's do what Wendy suggested. Let's just not perfectly line up, but at least kind of line them up. This is why I don't want to make C. I messed up my pattern sequence. Well, hopefully it's only towards these last pieces, and I just realized why I wasn't doing it. Wendy, your ideas mess me up now. We'll see. So what happened was I did this one. After this is okay, so this is going to, let's not do this, let's do this one next. Oh. And after that is the green. Sorry for my cranky chair. It's a cheap IKEA chair. I should sit on a better chair. I do realize that my back begins to hurt if I sit on the machine for too long. Could be my chair, could be the height. I haven't figured out the ergonomics of this yet. After that, we have which orange one? This orange with the big splashes, which is this guy, I believe. Yeah. Why is it that I'm missing a color? So, oh, here it is. And this one is this guy, and then we have that pink one. Okay. Sorry for the big breaks because I am trying to maintain a sequence order here. This is what happens when you watch a person who's learning how to quilt. Pinkish color here. sky and then the purple. Okay, so hopefully I've got it right. So I'm going to sew these two pieces together and then get to ironing them maybe later, not right now. I have to Google art quids. But I also have stuff to get done in the pottery studio. I have to unload the kiln and do a glaze firing. I have butter dishes in this kiln load. And then the last one is here. You're back again. Cool. Everything fine with your kitty cats? Okay, that was the last piece actually. So, Wendy, I'm going to be signing off. But these are done. I'm going to be ironing them later on. Let's just check the very last piece whether it matches up. So I think after ironing it'll stretch more, but yeah, I have matching seams on both ends, so that's good. So that piece is going to go up here on this. So it's a basic log cabin, and then the next round is going to be my next other neutral colors. I have these two neutrals. One is like that one, and then one is the grayish blue, and that's the one I purchased when we were doing the English paper piecing. So that will be the next and final round of them. So we'll get this out here and that bluish gray on the eye. So all right, bye everyone. We'll see you when I move on to the next steps. Take care.